Alright lovely people, and welcome back to my channel, Dance with Danny. Now, today, I think I'm going to teach you something very, very simple. We're going to start with a basic cha-cha-cha. Who wants to learn basic cha-cha-cha? I thought so. Now, of course, I'm aware that my last video I posted, the J-Lo one, if you haven't seen it, go check it out, was a little on the difficult side. I am aware of this situation. So I figured I'd do something a lot easier for those less experienced dancers or those people that just actually felt like learning something and not trying to go move at 1,000 miles an hour, because that doesn't really help anyone, does it? But that's the way my brain works, if you couldn't tell already, because my mouth just sort of goes and farts a lot. So I apologise for that. Rightio, so before you get bored of me talking to you, let's get on with it, shall we? Backwards roll. Yeah, right, so now there's a few things to think about before we actually dance. When we dance, we usually count, right, using numbers. That would make sense, wouldn't it? So you'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6, 7, 8, unless you were doing like a waltz or a polonaise. Good word for a Sunday, right? Which would be in threes. But this, we're counting in fours. But on a cha-cha-cha, we actually start counting on the 2, right? So you would hear the 1, then you would start counting from the 2, 3, 4 and 1. So the 4 and 1 would be the cha-cha-cha. I hope that makes sense. Right, so we're just going to learn the very, very, very basic steps, right? Now, I'll teach you the steps, I'll teach you how to make them look nice. So essentially, we're just going to stand on our right leg with our left leg out to the side, pointed. All of our weight, let's say 90% of our weight is on our right leg, right? All we're going to do is bring that left leg in, and we're going to draw. Think of drawing a semicircle with that left leg. So we're going to bring that in like this, and then we're going to plop it forwards. There's still no weight on that foot. Maybe 10%. Maybe, that's foreign for maybe apparently. Right, so about 10% of the weight on that foot, and then we're just going to put the weight on. That will be on the 2. Right? Then we will just bring the weight back onto the right leg on the 3. We'll do a semicircle in the opposite direction, bringing that in. Think of dragging, almost like your ankles touch, where their foot comes through and back out, and then the 4 and 1 would be the cha-cha-cha, right? Which would be cha to the side, then close this foot in, touch it, change weight, and release the other leg. That's cha-cha-cha. Then this one, we're going to step back with our right leg. So our right leg is going to step. It's going to come in, do the semicircle like you did at the front step. Bring it in, step back onto that foot. That'll be on your 2. Then you'll replace forwards on your 3. This right leg will come back in. Caress those ankles. And then, that sounds ominous, doesn't it? And then out for 4, close the feet, and change weight, 1. Right? So steps-wise, very simple. Nice things to think about now, right? So, essentially, it should be doing this. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Step back, 2, 3, 4 and 1. That's it. Do it with me. That's step forwards, 2, back, 3. Cha-cha, 4 and 1. Stepping back, 2, 3. Cha-cha, 4 and 1. Right, now this is the first thing you should learn if you're ever learning cha-cha. It's a very similar dance to a rumba, but the rumba is normally very romantic and very sensual, right? You don't have to behave like an idiot like I do though. So, now a few things to think about. Like I said, so when you do that forward step, make sure this foot is coming in, right? Now, to make it look nice, what we don't want to do is we want to avoid going on the toe, here, like that. We want to bring that in almost on the inside of the foot. Now, the art to making it look nice and not terrible is not having this big bus gap, right? You don't want to get a bus through those legs. So you bring that in and think of squeezing the inside legs together, and then you end up with this nice line, right? That's it. So you bring that foot in, step forwards onto 2. Lovely. Take all the weight onto that leg. 2. Now, as you're going to bring your weight back, if I just turn around for you so you can see, my weight's forwards. As I want to bring my weight back, I don't want to just do this. That's going to look poop, right? So my weight's forwards. All I want to do is think of a check. A check is when I bend my back leg. So I bend my back leg so that it's easy for me to move my weight backwards, right? So this is what happens here. Stepping forwards, 2. And now I'm just going to take my weight down in my left hip and bend my right leg. So down into my left hip and bend my right leg and then take my weight backwards. It becomes much easier than just doing this, which is not cool, as I'm sure you can see, right? So you're stepping forwards, your weight's going forwards, I'm going to sit into my left hip, bend my right leg and then take my weight backwards. Lovely. Now I'm going to draw that semicircle using the inside of that foot, and then I'm going to cha, 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 or in other words, side, close, side. Think about it. Side, close. Again, here's that gap we were talking about. We don't want this. We want to close that space between the legs. Think of squeezing the inner thighs together. And if we can, get on the inside of that right leg. That's it. Then put some weight on it. Change. Just change knees. We've just done this. And change legs. That's it. And then cha. Go onto the leg and sit into that hip. Perfection. Right? Well, hardly, but you know, you'll look better than me in 5 minutes. Then you're going to go back on your right leg. Okay? You're going to step back on your right leg. As you bring it in, squeeze that gap again. Squeeze those inner thighs. Step back on the right leg. Step back. 2 straight legs. Sit into that right hip. Sit into it. Now this, because it's a back step, we don't need to do the check that we did on the other side. Right? So, we just take the weight back and then we take the weight forwards. That's 2. This is 3. And then we bring that right leg in. We squeeze their inner legs together. Squeeze them together. Leg out to the side, and then we cha, cha, cha. Right? Very nice. So let's do that together, shall we? So I'm going to start on what number? 2. That's correct. I'm going to start on 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now in the cha-cha-cha, we very rarely ever really use the 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So we tend to only really use the 1, 2, 3, 4. But we start on the 2 and we end on the 1. Okay? I know it's weird. I know. I don't know who created it, but it's very obvious. When you listen to certain types of songs, most cha-cha songs, it's very clearly obvious once you actually listen to the song. Right? So, you'll hear 2, 3, 4, 1. We'll go together slowly, then we'll speed up. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 1. Step forwards. 2, step back. 3, bring it in and cha, cha, cha. Then we step back on the 2, we step forwards on the 3, we bring the back leg in and we go cha, cha, cha. Let's speed it up a bit. Here we go. 2, 3, cha, 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 and back. 2, 3, side, cha, cha, cha. Forwards. 2, 3, cha, cha, cha. 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Good. 2, 3. Keep it going. 4, and 1. And 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Good. Now, if you haven't seen my other 2 videos before my previous dance class video, if that makes sense, one of them was about lock stepping, which is another step we use a lot in cha-cha-cha. rather than the cha-cha-cha, we use the cha-cha-cha. Okay, so that's a very common thing. So go back and check that video out if you want to. Obviously, I'm not making you. It's impossible to make you, right, from my living room, right? So you can do that, and you can also check out the cucaracha tutorial. Now, the cucaracha tutorial, that sounds a bit silly, I know, right? But a cucaracha, essentially, I've worked on it, is a figure of 8 with the hips. Now, it is the bedrock. It's the absolute bedrock of everything you'll do in this style of dance, right? But specifically, for now, this cha-cha-cha, right? You're trying to make a figure of 8 with the hips. Go and check out the tutorial, and if you haven't, then come back and try and adapt it to these steps. So rather than having straight hips, having your 2, 3, with nothing wrong with, don't get me wrong, having straight hips is okay, 3, 4 and 1, but as you can tell, it just looks a little stiff, right? It doesn't look very, what's the word, stylized. It just looks a bit meh, right? That's my mate Lucas, he loves that word, meh. Just looks a bit bland, right? Once we then adapt that cucaracha, that figure of 8 hip, that's when we start to look like all those guys and girls that you see off of Strictly Come Dancing, or if you're from the US, Dancing with the Stars, right? So this is the thing that suddenly everyone thinks, everyone seems to think that when you do this stuff, when you do this style, that everyone thinks that it's just this. Woo, right? Just work the hips. And don't get me wrong, I would rather someone do that than dance like this, like a penguin, right? Although penguins are super cute, so maybe not penguins. I love penguins. Right, that was disgusting. Right, so I would rather that, but it's very important. So go back, check out that, and then come back to me and try that step again. So that is your basic cha-cha-cha, right? Work on that, and in the next video, I'm going to show you something else, which is a further step, which you can add on to that, and hopefully together we can start to build something together. Right? Lovely. Okay, so for the first time on this channel, I am now going to take this camera elsewhere, right? I'm going to go in the garden. My missus is currently sunbathing because it's about 26 degrees in England. And I don't know if you're from England, but that doesn't happen very often, right? It's lovely over here. So I'm going to take you somewhere else. And we're going to go and meet the missus. All right? Lovely. Peace. Right, and we're back in the room, or should I say outside the room, because we're outside. Right, and this is Naomi. Da, da, da. Hello, Naomi.
Hello.
So,
I think I actually have cookie batter in between my
lovely.
toes.
She's been baking cookies. And they're filthy as well. So yeah, this is Naomi, isn't it?
Hello.
We met doing a show called Saturday Night Fever a million years ago. It was a UK tour, and yeah, what was it? How long ago? 5?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't even know what day it is.
Lovely, romantic, isn't it? Really nice. So yeah, I think it's about 5 years ago, wasn't it?
I think it was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. And then we both made the choice to go vegan 4 years ago. So we are vegan and old.
That was a digression.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I like dropping it in though.
Yeah, most vegans do.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I just thought I'd introduce you to Naomi. She's sort of, you know, the string master, puppet, what's it called?
Puppet master.
Puppet master, yeah. She does all the rest of the stuff. So I do the videos and the dance classes, and she does everything else. So like all the responsibility stuff, like business side,
Yeah.
pretty much. Anything that requires actual adult, you know, brain, she deals with. I deal with all the silly stuff. What do you say?
In life,
Yeah.
not just this.
In all of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, anyway, so yeah, just thought I'd introduce you, and that's it. Right, anyway,
You
so...
interrupted me, like having a lovely time sunbathing.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, anyway, all I thought I would do this, and please subscribe to my channel, like the video, check out the other content if you haven't checked it out already. I might put a link, but if I don't know how to do that, I won't. Yeah, so have a nice day, all sorted, lovely jubbly, mwah!